And we are back. Nimrandir, coming back to Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous with Helwig the Last Warrior, who is still redunculously large because, as you may recall in our last video, we had a bit of a battle, and I do say a bit because we were trounced pretty heavily by a demon named Minago, and we ended up getting carted here, but carted here so fast that our spells that we cast during the fight are actually still affecting us. If you notice up in the corner, the Bless Scroll that I had Seela use just now expired, and as you can see, Helwig is massive. He just barely fits through the door, like how his head clips through the top there, as a result of an enlarged person spell that's been cast on him. So, we're currently in a place called the Defender's Heart, where the resistance against the demonic attack on the city of Canabras is centered, and we're basically kind of reconnoitering. I was waiting to see if she had a voice, actually had a voice line, but we've met Inevia before, so we helped her get back to her wife out of the tunnels underneath the city when Descari attacked and all. So, hey, wait, mind if I bend your ear about something? Leaning casually against a shelf. Her leg, miraculously non-injured now. Of course, I mean, we're in a world with magic. Why wouldn't it be? So here's the first and most important thing. Beth gave you a crucial mission. I get that, and I know you'll get the job done. I saw you in action. But here's the rub. By sending you out on an errand, we're weakening our defenses here. If they come at us while you're gone, I don't know if we'll be able to fight them off. So we've got a few questions we can ask. So maybe the demons will end up attacking here, and it's up to us to figure it out. I don't know. When do you think they'll attack next? Your guess is as good as mine. It might not be here. They could attack the whole darn city. Those vermin know they've lost the upper hand and that we're going to push back hard. If things kick off here, you should know. After they attack, some things could be changed beyond recognition. So if you've got any business that needs taken care of, you'd better do it soon. Okay. So, everything seems clear so far. What else do you wish to discuss? So the rift that darned beetle left with its scythe? Yeah, well, it cut the city into two, and that's kind of difficult to get across. My scouts tell me there's a halfway decent place to set up a crossing in Market Square, not that any of them tried to make sure. But if you've got a mind to go across, and I think you're going to have to eventually, you might want to give the square a once-over. Alright, okay. So, I'll go ahead and check this off. I'm sure that's not what she's saying, but, You what? No! Your task is far too important. You can't just hole up here all cozy-like waiting for the demons to knock on the door. We need to take the fight to them. But if those freaks try to make a move on this place, Beth will send a runner to get you. If that happens, you leg it back here, alright? Because if you don't, you'll be coming back to an ash pile. Got it? Later. Just watch yourself out there. Or Staunton. Let's see here. So we found out Staunton Vane is... he and this Minago who beat the crap out of us have a history. He resembles an abandoned citadel, one whose high, crumbling walls are still holding fast, but whose empty, lightless windows make it clear that all inside is dead. So, little bundle of sunshine. It's you. Good work back there in the Grey Garrison. Name's Staunton Vane. If you heard rumors about me. His face, which looks like it has never known anything as carefree as a smile, grimaces. Just so you know. Everything people say about me. It's true. Well, what do people say about you? They say I'm a traitor. As bad as a Rilu Vorlesh. That I'm a disgrace, even among the ranks of the condemned. That Queen Galfrey should never have spared me. That I belong on the gallows. You really don't have any friends? That's so sad. I couldn't have survived this long if I were completely alone. Joran, my little brother, he keeps me going. He's never abandoned me. Everyone else shies away from me like they might catch what I've got. Even fighters in the condemned console themselves by thinking, I got stripped of my rank, but at least I'm not Staunton. Commander Tirabade seems to be the only person in the whole army who remembers that I'm a soldier and not a drudge. She has no qualms about taking me into battle. She's had some mud flung at her in the past, or so I hear. That's why she tries to keep an open mind about people. It's no surprise that she's the only one to hold on to her sense of reason in this farce. Well, we kind of know, like, we were there. Hellwig, I mean, he did get exploded by, like, a lightning bolt and a fireball, so yeah, okay, sure. Why do they hate you so much? You really don't know? He gives me a long, morose look, then sighs. I'm the reason why the Crusade forces are holed up in fortresses on the edge of the world wound, instead of bringing the fight to the demons. We used to have a foothold in the wound, the mighty, unassailable city of Dresden. We used to have it, until it fell. And all because of my stupidity. I gave the enemy our main citadel. I was tried. They wanted to execute me, and rightly so. But the Queen intervened. She said that I should live and fight in order to undo what I had done. So that's how I live. Decade after decade, fighting in the condemned. He shrugs. As you can see, I've fixed nothing, and I've earned no one's forgiveness. Are you going to spit in my face, too? Wouldn't surprise me. So, yeah, I'm going to take the good option here, so I hope he earns forgiveness. Thank you. From the depths of my soul, I thank you. But I haven't had hope for a long, long time. So many years in the condemned. Surely you have paid your penance by now. That's not up to me to decide. My life's in the Queen's hands. He falls silent for a moment, and then in a trembling voice, he adds, the condemned isn't the worst part. All these years I've prayed to Torag for forgiveness. Countless times I've gone to his priests. Countless times I've kneeled before his altar. If only the Father of Dwarvenkind would answer my prayers just once. Not to restore what I've lost, but just to tell me that I'm still one of his children. But it seems he doesn't give a darn about me. What can I expect from mere mortals when my own god doesn't think I deserve redemption? Yeah, that's... Like I said, I get, you know, Torag's stern, but yeah, that does seem kind of weird. Alright. Sure, let's get some backstory. I mean, we kind of know. I feel bad dragging this out of him. Like, we're just making him relive his, like, worst memories, but sure. This is what happens when you have a 7 intelligence Blood Rager. How is this possible? What do you mean, how? If you don't trust the word of a condemned, go ask somebody else. Like my little brother, Joran. If you still don't believe it, what is it to me? But if you're about to ask me to recount the story of my disgrace for the 1000th time, don't. Fair enough. Alright. I need to talk to the elf who calls himself the Storyteller. Do you know where I can find him? The Storyteller? Strokes his beard in thought. Strange old fellow, that one. He used to sit with me for hours, asking about all sorts of things. He never offered judgment or comfort. He just listened. At first, I wanted him and his questions as far away from me as possible. But later I realized that talking to him did ease my burden a little. I hope he is alive and well. He's completely blind, and feeble too, so if he's alone in the city, well, you probably know what that means. I do know one place he might be. Look for him in the Blackwing. It's a library. Here, I'll show you where it is on the map. I don't know what use a library is to a blind elf, but he loved the place. He would sit there day and night. So we got the Blackwing Library on a map somewhere now. I presume I'd find it when I stepped outside the Defender's Heart, but So, yeah, I guess the Pathfinder world hasn't done anything, you know, we don't have a Braille analog. I mean, there's got to be something. Paizo's big into accessibility. I'm sure there's some way the elf can use the library. Magic, like some magic equivalent of a screen reader, maybe? Yeah, you know. Anyway, let's do our Commander Shepard. I should go. Go on, then. Maybe we'll see each other again. There's a Crusader. Canabra still has some fight in it. We'll make those demons rue the day they came here. Alright, I'm not going to just keep... Oh, there's Camellia. Yep. So we got some people here. Crusader.
Head on!
There's a Nevia, she just moved. Peasant survivor. Citizen survivor. Amade, our intercessor, don't abandon us in our despair.
I lead. You follow.
Kiado? Okay. Vasali Rathamus, alright. I probably totally butchered that name, but, you know. I'm just looking around to see who of my, you know, party members I can, you know, track down, so. I totally love that they're, like, the barkeep is just fine with me walking back here.
Onwards!
Ask this noble, what's he doing? Okay, same thing about, you know, asking Iyamade not to abandon them. Citizen, today we're alive, but what about tomorrow? Journal. Forn Autumn Haze? Okay, we got some named NPCs here. Let's make our way, you know, let's make our way through. So, although first off, I believe, where are you? Yes, the other you are. I saw you. Hogus Glum. He owes us some money. Thank you. 1,000 gold coins for you, just as promised. You helped me get back to the surface, and I duly paid you for escorting me. Hogus Glum always keeps his word. Now, speaking of our future cooperation... Horgus looks at me with unvarnished disapproval, his arms folded across his chest, his foot tapping impatiently. I have a job that would be perfect for someone like you. Naturally, I'll pay generously for your services. So what does this job involve? I know what he means by a job for someone like me. I've already played dunce with Staunton, so, you know. You shall be my bodyguard. You see, I have good reason to return to my mansion here in Canabris. I still have... Well, it doesn't matter. It's none of your business. My mansion is a breathtaking building with a large garden in the wealthy part of the city. Even before the demons attacked, every thief and fraudster in the city had tried to get inside one way or another. I shudder to imagine the state it's in now. I have little hope that my guards were able to hold the mansion during the attack, and I expect that the servants fled when they saw the demons. Only Abadar knows what's happened there since. Abadar is like the god of business, essentially. So, therefore, I would ask that you meet me at my mansion and guard me there until I complete my business. I already asked the local paladins for help, but they've no desire to set foot outside this tavern. Cowards and traitors, that's what they are. Also, please, do take Camellia with you. I trust that girl more than the rest of your gang. She is of noble birth, after all. What kind of reward are we talking about? 1,000 gold coins. Okay, sure. Yeah, I'm not gonna push for more money. That's, yeah, sure. Marvelous! Most excellent! His face relaxes, smoothing a few of the tense lines. I'll proceed to my mansion at once and wait for you there. Meanwhile, you needn't worry. I know the city like the back of my hand. But do hurry unless you want me to lower your reward. Gorm's mansion has been revealed. Okay,
Move out.
So I guess I'm taking Camellia with me. She looks at me pensively, toying with the snake-shaped bone amulet that dangles from her pale neck. Noticing my glance, she flashes me a cold, barely there smile. Greetings. It seems for a moment that she wants to say something else, but the pause grows too long, and she slips back into cautious silence. Okay, yeah, let's do this. You're much more relaxed during combat. Your battle cries are definitely uninhibited. Yes, yeah. She blushes slightly and lowers her eyes. So you've noticed. To be honest, I find it embarrassing. You see, being a shaman means having spirits of battle as my ever-present companions. In the heat of combat, they become rather, vocal. Okay. Your amulet is quite unusual. Where did you get it? Ah, my little trinket. It's so nice of you to notice. But I assure you, this amulet is nothing but a bauble. Can a lady not be drawn to beautiful, useless things? Beautiful, you know, like a snake skull. Where did you learn to wield a rapier so well? You know, all of the times I almost let you swing at something with it. I had good teachers, although they don't get all the credit. I am a most diligent student. She licks her lips. Your speech tells me you are of noble birth. Camellia laughs her practiced musical laugh as she watches me from under lowered lashes. You're most insightful. A fine quality to have. Her laughter ends, and unspoken words hang in the silence. I'm kind of curious how to answer this. This feels like if I wanted to go the BioWare romance route with Camellia, this is the choice I would pick. So, you know, I don't really, you know, not really thinking about sort of the BioWare style dating sim thing at this point, but I'm sort of curious here. Being of noble birth, nothing wrong with being a noble. People are not born equal. I mean, that's not unfair. I mean, it's not saying that he's not saying people are not equal. People are not born equally. Okay. But but this sounds more like what Hellwig would say, though. So, I'm gonna have to go with it being of noble birth does not give anyone the right to look down on others. Is that so? Well, thank you for sharing your opinion with me. Alright. I should go. I won't keep you. The dawning smile on Camellia's face freezes and quickly dies away. Does that mean that she's happy I'm leaving, or she almost showed me that she was happy that I was talking to her? I'm not sure how to read that. Yeah, whatever. What does Gimel Hawks have to say? A strange figure towers over the bar. A huge, ungainly man with skin so milky white that his blue veins are visible even from a distance. His bald head is equal parts lumpy and pitted. Blood-filled eyes stare impassively out at you from beneath his pale brows. The glass in the albino's charge, in his large, clumsy hands, looks dangerously delicate, as if one twitch of those fingers would be enough to crush it. A gold medallion engraved with a tankard gleams around his neck. So what'll it be? Yes, I made my lore religion check. Possibly only because I've got, you know, I also worship Caden. The medallion you're wearing. That's a sacred symbol. Are you a cleric of Caden Kalian? I'm a tavern keeper. Best in the city. The best there's ever been. And I pray to the best god there is. So, shall we raise a toast to Caden? May he show us wisdom at the bottom of every tankard. So drink. No one's stopping you. Just remember, it's not on the house. So, any news? There are demons everywhere, and you showed up. Are there any places in the city worth visiting? If you mean places like that, if you mean places that normal people usually stay well away from, then there are plenty, like the Pataxian wine cellar. Gimel pauses for effect, like the name of the place alone should make me quiver in fear. It once belonged to a Pataxian trading house. Then King Iraveti came to power in Pitax, and property started changing hands. Soon after, the seller's shop assistant was found in a ditch. Not all of him, mind, just his head. Umarian gangsters had taken possession of the place. They wanted to sell something stronger than wine on the street, and they ended up on the gallows. Then King Iraveti's number was up. So now the store stands empty and unclaimed. People say that a headless ghost wanders the place at night, moaning ghoulishly. Ooh. Okay. So Pitax, Pitax comes up in Kingmaker, as I recall. I'm actually playing in a tabletop Kingmaker campaign at the moment, and so I know one of our player characters is from Pitax. So interesting that it came up here. Also, maybe, I guess Owlcat sort of waving at the other AP they made into a computer game. Okay. After coming to the end of his story, unusually long by his standards, the tavern keeper takes a swig from his tankard. Just don't ask me how he makes any noise with no head. Wasn't there. I just tell it like I heard it. How'd you end up here in the Crusader City? How did anyone end up here? How did you? Or them? With a huge hand, I'm actually gesturing myself around the room, so... The world is big, but there still isn't a place for everybody. People who no longer have a life anywhere else, they end up here. Sure, who are you? Gimel Hawks. Vampire. What? What? Vampire? What? Are you really a vampire? Gives me a long look of reproach and then grudgingly answers, no. See, you're not one for talking. Gives me a long, mournful look and says nothing. Alright. Alright. I like that vampire. Okay, I don't want to go outside. I have no people with me. So here, we got a bunch of, like, named NPCs that I feel obligated to chat to. So who's this Kyoto person? We'll make our way around. I believe that help is already on the way. The Queen will not leave us to die.
I lead. You
Optimistic.
follow.
Let's check, Visali. Oh, a stout old man with a fuzzy gray beard mumbles a prayer. He looks as tired as everyone else in the tavern, but determination is stamped upon his haggard face. What can I do for you? Who are you? Visali Erathamus, rector of the local temple of Abadar. The temple is gone, though, and if we snooze here for much longer, the city will be lost as well. What kind of help can I expect from you? First, I sell scrolls. I have a lot of them, something for every emergency. Also, I sell them because Abadar. Second, while you're here in the tavern, I can read one for you. Guaranteed, no surprises. But you better not go into the city without a cleric. I won't be going there myself. I'm too old, and my powers are needed here. Who's the boy with you? This one? Kyoto the Shepherd, my apprentice. He's a smart boy, and his faith is strong. He serves Erastil, though, but there's still something he can learn from an old servant of Abadar. He'll be a great cleric when he gets a little older. I should go. May Abadar aid you. I can't believe an Abadaran cleric. Things must be really bad that the Abadaran clerics are, like, just letting me have stuff. Anybody up here? Oh, there's Sela. Okay, let's chat with Sela. Sela smiles at me warmly. Hey there! During that march through the dungeon, we never got the chance to exchange a proper greeting. It's high time I shake your hand. No, I'd like to know more about you, Sela. Of course. Ask anything. I'll answer honestly. Tell me about yourself. Where are you from? I'm a little bit from Geb, a little bit from Katapesh, mostly from the Knights of Ayamade. I was accepted and began my training at 14. I belong to their ranks more than I belong to any other place. So, I actually knew this backstory. So, yeah, so Sela being from Geb, so for those of you not versed in Pathfinder lore, Geb is a country of undead. Like literally the kingdom is ruled by, like, a Venge Ghost. So, my guess is, as a human in Geb, she might have been, like, actually, like, kind of a, like, you know, mortal cattle to feed undead appetites. Then she escaped, went to Katapesh, which is, very much like a, you know, money talks marketplace kind of place. And then she ended up joining the, Paladins of Ayamade. So, what made you become a Paladin of Ayamade? Her gaze sharpens momentarily. That's a serious question, and a good one. You should ask it of your companions, but it's a long story. To start with, 12 years ago, I was nothing like the person I am now. I roamed the streets of Solku with the other homeless orphans. I stole, I fought, I was a hired sword for a bit. Not the proper origin for a paladin, is it? See, it's funny, I know this is the way, like, the trope works, that the paladin was, like, chosen from birth, but I gotta be honest, I like the fact that she's a paladin who, like, changed her life, and that's why she's, like, you know, there was a change. That's more in my keeping with, like, you know, how faith works. But anyway. Back then, Solku was a city of orphans, widows, and widowers. Gnolls decimated the place regularly. My parents were among their victims. People there heard about new deaths before they'd finished mourning their previous losses. One day, a group of Knights of Ayamade brought a glimmer of hope to the city. But while others saw them as saviors and protectors, I was busy pricing up their noble horses and their gleaming mithril armor, wondering just how much one of their pretty swords would fetch. A thief lives one day at a time, and that's what they say. I was the type that never thought past the next job. Anyhow, I was able to sneak into the knight's camp and steal one of their mithril helms. She pauses, sad and measured. But I was right there when a gnoll attacked the helm's owner. Asemi was her name, and dealt a blow to her unprotected head. A gnoll like all those others she'd fearlessly driven from the gates of Solku. That one blow was fatal, but who was really to blame for her death? The gnoll attacker, or the young thief named Sela? Yeah. Phil, the sort of lawful person, I was gonna say, yeah, Nim, the lawful person, would say this. Helwig is, you know, probably, you know, living here. So, Life is cruel and full of chaos. Sometimes survival just comes down to luck. So that's how you see it. Sela will remember that. I don't know if you heard the little pen writing. Sela looks at me with curiosity, but no hostility. I can't accept that point of view. If the story of my youth taught me anything, it's that we're all accountable for our actions. It's too easy to wave off responsibility if you use the cruelty of life as an excuse. But you were asking what brought me into the ranks of the Yamade's warriors. We all choose the Paladin's path for our own reasons. Some are guided by nobility of spirit, some by a desire to fight injustice. I became who I am through penance and a debt unpaid. The day Asemi died protecting my city, I wanted to kill myself for the terrible guilt I felt. But then I realized it wouldn't make the world any better, and I decided that instead, I'd try to take her place. I'd become who she had been, and protect the innocence that she would no longer be able to protect. Okay, you've come to Mendev by a long road, haven't you? A very long one. Sela looks at me cheerfully. A traveler is expected to have amusing stories. Unfortunately, I have only 3 tales of any interest, and I'd like to save them for our next feast. Otherwise, I won't have anything to show for myself when it's time to start bragging. That just won't do. Especially since I'll win the night with my cautionary tale of a battle with chupacabras. Wow. Yeah, chupacabras, yeah, they're bad juju. That's okay. So, sure. We'll talk when we'll celebrate our next victory. I like your attitude. We'll never overcome grief and misery without hope for the better, and dreams of brighter days. Well, tell me about the Paladins of Yamade. Sela smiles. I'll tell you. I like to recite our code. It feels like I've said it 1,000 times, but it never gets old. There's strength in these words. She pauses, begins, her voice slow and meditative. I will learn the weight of my sword. Without my heart to guide it, it is worthless. My strength is not in my sword, but in my heart. If I lose my sword, I have lost a tool. If I betray my heart, I have died. I will have faith in the Inheritor. I will channel her strength through my body. I will shine in her legion, and I will not tarnish her glory through base actions. I am the first into battle, and the last to leave it. I will not be taken prisoner by my free will. I will not surrender those under my command. I will never abandon a companion, though I will honor sacrifice freely given. So in other words, if somebody is, doing Horatio at the bridge, it's okay to, retreat. But I will guard the honor of my fellows, both thought and deed, and I will have faith in them. When in doubt, I may force my enemies to surrender, but I am responsible for their lives. I will never refuse a challenge from an equal. I will give honor to worthy enemies and contempt to the rest. I will suffer death before dishonor. I will be temperate in my actions and moderate in my behavior. I will strive to emulate Yamade's perfection. Well, okay, thank you. That's a heck of a code there. I hope I didn't bore you. Ask me something else if you'd like. I've actually got a lot going on here, but let's go ahead and tell her about her friend. So, Jana Aldori. So, the name Aldori is kind of a big deal because there's like a whole group of sword masters. Again, if you have any experience with Kingmaker, the Aldori sword lords are related to, what happens in that game. But, do you know where we should look for Jana Aldori? Irabeth is worried about her fighters. I understand that. I wanted to look for Jana myself, so I didn't distract you. But since you're in this too, I could use some help. Jana and I met in Canabras a few days ago and just hit it off. We went drinking together. We went to that unforgettable celebration together too, but we got separated in the crowd. So we should start looking from the main square. That's where I last saw her. She frowns. Jana's a good fighter, even if she is green. She couldn't have become an Aldori otherwise. I hope that means she's alright. Alright. So, we're getting close to time where I need to press pause on the as you say, this is probably a good place to call it rather than filling up, more space with, stuff about the goings-on in Canabras and whatnot. So yeah, we'll go ahead and stop here. Once again, thanks for watching. Feel free to check out the rest of the Nimrandir Plays Wrath of the Righteous series, to check out what brought Helwig the Last Warrior here into the Defender's Heart, where he's going to spend, like, ages and ages and ages talking, and I just now noticed that he finally shrank back down. That's nice. I'm not going to be huge and swole forever. Although, to be fair, it would have been... I'd have been okay with it mechanically. Anyway, Nimrandir will catch you next time.